What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into my Week 4 college football predictions video today. Let's get into it, starting out here with my Week 3 picks, what I got right and what I got wrong. Starting out here with this first game, we had the Kansas State Wildcats taking on Missouri. Big-time win for Missouri. I was not expecting that. I thought Kansas State was the better team, but Missouri got a big win and Kansas State falls in that one. I did pick the LSU one right. LSU dominated Mississippi State right there. Did pick Virginia Tech to beat Rutgers. That was one of my upsets. Did not get that one wrong, unfortunately, though. Did pick North Carolina to beat Minnesota. North Carolina really rocked Minnesota's world there to move on to 3-0. Really good start to this season for the Tar Heels. I did pick Tennessee to beat Florida. That is an embarrassing loss from the Volunteers that in the swamp just struggled mightily to get anything going on offense, and the Gators pull off the win. Big-time win for Florida. Purdue, I got wrong. I picked them to pull off an upset and bounce back, but Syracuse was the better team. They get the win. I did pick West Virginia to beat Pittsburgh, and the Mountaineers got that win at home. That was an interesting game for me. I was split on that one, but did get West Virginia right. TCU did beat Houston there, dominated them. Not surprised by that one. Houston's not been a good team to start up the season. Colorado just barely beated Colorado State. It looks like I think that game went into overtime. You know, obviously 99% of people picked Colorado, so I'm not the only one who thought that Colorado probably was going to blow out Colorado State, but it's a rivalry game, so Colorado State almost won that one, but the Buffaloes do win that one at home. And then Fresno State beats Arizona State bad. Fresno State's been a very solid team this season, kind of a sleeper good team so far. All right, but now let's look at my I went 6-4 on that week. That means that my record is 18-12 to start out the year, which is decent, not the best. I mean, 69.6 percentile isn't probably what I want there. I probably want a little bit more, but I'm going to take it for now. All right, so week 4 predictions here. Starting out here with this first game of the week, we have Texas A&M versus the Auburn Tigers. Interesting matchup here. You got the 3-0 Auburn team, first game of the SEC between these two, I think. Texas A&M coming off that very difficult loss last week that we mentioned. It is being played at Texas A&M, but I'm feeling Auburn here. This team's been very solid to start up the year. I think that they can get the win, but I would not be surprised. This game probably is going to be a close matchup. All right, moving on. We have this next game between the Florida State Seminoles taking on Clemson. I'm going to go with Florida State. A lot of people counting out Clemson, though. Florida State didn't look great in their last week's game. They just barely won. So, you know, I'm not too certain on this Florida State team. They did play very well against LSU. Clemson, not living up to the expectations so far this season. They have dropped out of ranked. They could really use a win here. This is a huge game for them. They need it. But I'm going to go with the Seminoles in that one. All right, Utah versus UCLA. A battle of two undefeated Pac-12 teams so far. Utah just barely won a couple weeks ago and then didn't look great against Baylor. So I'm going to go with UCLA, actually, in this one. I think that UCLA can win this one, pull off an upset. I know it's being played at Utah, but I'm feeling another upset pick here on the road. UCLA pulls off the win. So all road games so far I picked here. Next up, we have Alabama versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss, very good start to the year, undefeated. I think that Nick Saban's going to get this team fixed, though, for Alabama. You know, I just can't see it not being that way with the Crimson Tide being as good as they are. So I do think Saban can fix this Alabama team, and Alabama can get the win. And then moving on down here, we have the Jayhawks versus BYU. As a BYU fan, we got a huge win last week against Arkansas. I'm liking what I'm seeing from BYU so far. Started out the year slow against Sam Houston, but looked pretty good against Southern Utah and then looked really good last week. So I'm going to go with the Cougars in this one. I'm going to give this one to my BYU Cougars. I believe in this team. I know it's being played in Kansas. Kansas has had a good start to the year as well, but a lot of people counting out BYU, and that this is when BYU thrives, it seems like. So I'm going to give this one to my Cougars in the first game of the Big 12. Next up, we have an Oregon State-Washington State game, another fun one. Being played in Washington State, these are the two teams that have been left behind in the Pac-12, but they're some of the better teams here in this Pac-12 conference. A lot of people liking Oregon State in this one. I think that Oregon State is the better team, being ranked 14th. I'm going to give it to Oregon State in there, but another really good game there. I can see that one going either way. All right, and then we have a big-time matchup, Ohio State, Notre Dame. This could be huge playoff implications late in the year. Both these teams have looked pretty solid to start out the year. Ohio State, I believe, actually maybe kind of struggled last week. Let me see something real quick. Sorry, guys, just looking at this Ohio State team, how they've looked. Yeah, this team's not played many good teams so far, so this is a true test. Notre Dame really hasn't either. I do think the Buckeyes are the better program, so I'm going to give this one to Ohio State, but man, either way, either or, I am excited to watch this one. Just sit down and watch this football game because it's going to be a fun one. Right after I finish up with my BYU Kansas game, which is going to be another really good one. But anyway, moving on, we have Missouri versus Memphis. Obviously, Missouri pulling off that huge win last week, upset win against Kansas State. A lot of people counting out the Tigers in this one, or the Memphis Tigers, that is, both a battle of the Tigers here. Didn't realize that, but I'm going to go with Missouri at home. I just don't think it's going to be enough for Memphis, a team out of the AAC, so give me Missouri in that one in another battle of undefeated teams. We're going to have a lot of teams get handed their first loss this week, it looks like. All right, another undefeated UCF team taking on Kansas State. Kansas State's got to be frustrated with last week. I'm still a believer in this Kansas State team at home. I think that they can bounce back. First game in the Big 12. Their season ain't done yet. They're still a good football team, so I think that they can beat UCF in UCF's debut Big 12 game, but UCF's looked pretty good so far as well, so this is going to be another fun game, man. There's a lot of good matchups in Week 4. This is where college football really starts to get exciting. All right, and then we have North Carolina versus Pittsburgh. I've just been not impressed with Pittsburgh so far this season, and North Carolina's been very impressive. I've kind of counted them out. I'm not going to count them out anymore. I'm going to give this one to the Tar Heels, and they should be able to handle their business against Pittsburgh. All right, those are my predictions here. Have a few upsets in there. UCLA, Auburn, BYU, some of those. But yeah, those are my picks for this week, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content today. Comment down below your predictions. Anyway, guys, peace out.